There it is. I told you, Shaq, they were going to get you.
Oh, I like that one. Underdog. King, send that to me so I can get that made. Put that on a T-shirt. That's cold right there.
The actual check.
Yeah, with the check.
Hey, that is cold. That
is
ain't
cold.
bad,
Boy.
though. I ain't going to lie, though. That ain't bad.
I'll rock that tonight. At the club.
We asked you to respond to the poll question, and right now LaMarcus Aldridge and Chris Paul very
Fighting it
close.
out. Yeah, that's what I said.
Who should be a starter in the Western Conference.
They can't get it right on the East.
We will update that as we go on. And in the East,
Roy Hibbert.
Yeah,
Roy.
40% saying Roy Hibbert should have been a starter.
You don't have the numbers, though. That's what everybody said.
But he's playing great defense.
That's my point. You
Playing
can't.
great
It's not about numbers.
And they got the best record in the NBA.
It's right. It's not about numbers. Now, you're validating Charles and I's point right now.
Yeah, but he's a center.
That's what we're here for.
Best record in the league.
Oh, but y'all arguing with us.
He's a center.
All right. And so with the Eastern Conference reserves now in the opinion of Shaq and Kenny and Grant and Chuck, just to refresh your memory, LeBron, Paul George, and Melo along the front line. They're the starters, D-Wade and Kyrie Irving. So let's take a look at the panel's suggestions for Eastern Conference reserves. And there they are. So you got complete agreement on 4 of the 7. Hibbert, Bosh, Lance Stevenson, and John Wall. So you got a couple of Pacers in there joining Paul George.
He says A-Raptor.
So
you only had 6, Grant? What happened to your 7th player?
I didn't think there were 7 guys deserving in the East.
Oh, come on.
Man.
Oh, wow, that was
Grant.
It's very Chuckish of you to
No,
pull
I'm
pull
being
that.
honest. I didn't see 7 All-Stars.
Not Chuck Ernie, Papa Smurf in that baby blue suit you got on.
So, Chuckster, how are you going to decide which Raptor goes?
Well, listen, Kyle Lowry has been fantastic. They're leading their division, so I wanted to reward the Raptors. First of all, it's a great city, my favorite place to visit in the world, I might add. But between DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, I saw the other guys pick DeMar DeRozan after he went off for 40 last night.
No, I didn't do that before.
No, he's had a good year.
Oh,
I did that
stop it.
before.
I did it yesterday afternoon.
Not like you.
No, but I'm saying I think a Raptor deserves to be in the All-Star game, and I think you can go either way because they both have played fantastic.
Yeah, DeRozan averaging 22 points a game, which is number 11. 4 assists, which is a career high, shooting 40%.
Oh, my God.
Kyle Lowry, 16 and 7, and number 9 in assists.
Oh, my era, that don't get you there.
And
16 and 7.
yeah, so DeMar DeRozan getting the nod from us, and we'll see if the coaches go that way too. Kenny, what did I look at from you? You only had 2 from the front court. You're supposed to have 3 front court guys.
Well, you know.
You got Bosh and Hibbert, but no other front court.
Well,
players.
DeRozan, I thought, was a small forward.
Oh, he's a backcourt.
No, see, that's my point. He and Paul George, to me, play the same position. But anyway, I just felt, I thought DeRozan was, to me, a front court player, small forward. Lance Stevenson is a small forward more than Paul George to me, but.
You got Jeff Teague in there. Did you think would you
it was
flip
either
a coin between him and Millsap?
Well, I thought the improvement of Jeff Teague each year is the reason why Atlanta is where they are. Millsap has just solidified what they did, what they're doing. But his improvement every year has made Atlanta now a playoff team and over 500 without Josh Smith, without Horford. You know, this guy is, to me, the improvement that he's made is biggest. And that's why I picked him.
You got Paul Millsap. Did you have Paul Millsap, Shaq? No,
I did not.
Grant, you had Paul Millsap,
I had Millsap
in there.
I like him. He's putting up big numbers.
And no Al Horford in there inside.
You have guys that are hurt. I mean, so many guys in the Eastern Conference who normally would be in the All-Star game are hurt. But, you know, I like Millsap's game.
Why don't you give 2 Hawks then?
Oh.
I mean, that's according to
your
your theory. That's your theory.
That would have made just 7 guys.
I didn't think Teague was an All-Star.
You don't think? What about Noah? You don't think Noah's an All-Star?
No.
Okay. You don't think Joe Johnson's an All-Star?
Well, according to your theory, I mean, Brooklyn right now. Well,
they're in the playoffs.
They're 7th seed.
Right. So that's I got
you
down
said
to
the
my
top
6.
6.
I went down to my 6, and that was how I did it. And then I was like, but Joe Johnson.
I mean, you can make a case for Joe Johnson.
But let me tell you this: they're 7 with a bullet. They're not 7 on the way down. They're 7 with a bullet, Brooklyn right now. And Joe Johnson is why they're on the bullet. That's why I picked Joe Johnson. I think Joe Johnson's a lock.
You got Joakim Noah in there. That, to me, was for Chicago was a no-brainer without Derrick Rose, and Chicago's still hanging around. In fact, Chicago's number 5 in the Eastern Conference.
Joakim Noah, Chuck's favorite player, Mr. Hustle. He's not going to give you any excuses. He's going to come out, play hard every night, never complains, and he's a workhorse. He deserves to be there. And then, I know that they say there's no centers. He's a center. He definitely deserves to be there. Him
I can't
and
argue
Mr. Roy
with
Hibbert.
I can't argue with him. If he made it, I wouldn't
agree
argue.
with you.
He works hard, year in and year out, never complains. Guys injured on his team.
Plays
Mr.
the
Rose
Well,
is
else,
out.
Drummond had a lot of consideration.
Yeah.
Drummond.
I thought about Drummond.
Let me ask, hey, Chuckster, Joakim Noah, like your favorite player. You didn't think he's having an all-star year?
Well, I wanted to reward Paul Millsap. The Hawks have surprised me. No Noah, no Horford most of the year, and I thought Millsap has been their best player. I just wanted to reward winning. Shaq, it's interesting to me. You talk about certain guys who you like. They don't have all-star numbers. But some
Like
of these
who?
other guys who,
Like who?
You just was bragging on Noah. Noah don't really. I think he is an all-star. He don't have all-star numbers.
But he's like the Rodman factor. Rodman didn't have big numbers, but he was a factor. Joakim Noah is a factor on the court when he's on the court. One guy
And
on the
that's
team
my
is a
point.
factor. No, just
And that's
one
my
guy.
point.
You and Kenny
Hold
naming
on.
three and four factors. Everybody else put up big numbers.
All I said was a guy like Kawhi Leonard. He's never gonna have all-star numbers, but he's a big factor. My guy Noah, he's not gonna have all-star numbers, even though I look at him as an all-star. But you like to talk about those guys who put up big numbers and their team's in last place. I'm never going to vote for them for being an all-star, ever.
Well, you don't get the last vote.
I would say this, too, Chuck.
Yeah, you don't get the last vote. I ain't worried about you.
Hey, and let me tell you something else. You better hope I don't have to decide and vote on the Hall of Fame, because you're not getting it.
Hey, Chuck, the one thing I say is sometimes it's okay for those guys to make the all-star team. But when you're a consensus all-star and you're on a consistently bad team, that is not fair. I don't think that you can be a 4 or 5-time all-star and your team is consistently one of the last 4 teams in the conference. You're not an all-star then. You're a looter in the riot. You're putting up numbers on a bad team. That doesn't mean that you're a great player. I don't mind you making it 1 year. But there's been some guys, and it's starting to be a trend of guys making it 4 and 5 years in a row who are in the last place of their teams.
Who you talking about?
The trend is starting.
Who you talking about?
But when we sit up here and say DeMarcus Cousins should be an all-star, that's not fair because his team consistently they have to make a jump some type.
All right, well, what
of way.
about the Knicks then?
Same thing. I might not have voted certain things.
The fans voted Melo in.
Yeah, but I'm talking about reserves. I wouldn't have voted any other Knick on that team. I wouldn't have voted Tyson Chandler into the All-Star game because his numbers would be similar to Noah and his importance is similar to Noah, but it's not making an impact on wins. So now it changes. Winning that's what it's all about in my book, first and foremost.
Has anybody ever asked the fans what they look for? Because as a fan, when I was a youngster, you had to put up big numbers, and you had to be a big factor on that team. Rodman didn't put up big numbers, but we all know he was a factor. He was going to get you 20 rebounds. He was going to frustrate the other
So you don't think Tim
player.
Duncan is a big factor?
Not now, no. Back then,
hey,
a
hold
couple
on.
years ago,
Wait,
yeah. Not now, you know.
All right.
Well,
Shaq,
hold
I
on.
think
Yes, he
I think
is.
that
Yes, he is. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Okay, Chuck,
My
go ahead.
mistake, he is.
You don't think a guy getting 15, 16 rebounds a night is a factor?
I said yes. I made a mistake because I was looking at that ugly baby blue suit you got
made
on.
a mistake. You made a mistake on that jacket and tie. Saying Dennis Rodman
Was a
averaged
factor.
probably- he was a big factor.
Okay, cool.
Because his teams always won.
Yeah, but even before Dennis was rebounding like he was defending, coming in off the bench,
Factor.
still making an All-Star game.
So what's
but
the-
their
those
team was
numbers?
winning. So it's
But those numbers, how are those numbers
They
measured?
weren't all-star.
So wait, if we take scoring out the equation, let's take scoring out. Now, how do you become an all-star?
No, I mean it's
To me, you're looking at it only in scoring first.
No, I'm looking at it from both. I don't think there's a formula. I just think certain people, even if you're on a losing team, I think Kevin Love, if he had not been voted in, even though his team right now is out of the playoffs, I think he's putting up and having an all-star year.
For what it's worth, those are my picks, and I think I'm going to run the table on that one.